And it looks like we are live, so I'm going to say hello everyone and welcome to a terrible stream for terrible people. How are we doing this fine Monday? Mrs. Sick, she did it! Congratulations, idiot! You published a new episode. That's what I've titled the stream because I had to put a stupid word in, but also I wanted to be congratulatory. So,
You're obsessed.
with what? Calling you an idiot or congratulating you for getting a new episode of Spoon Stuff out?
You promote me way too much.
Yes, I don't promote you. If I was promoting you way too much, you'd fucking know about it. You'd be like, oh my god, he won't stop talking about it.
Yeah, that is like it.
But I am going to talk about it right now. Spoon Staff Stories, if you haven't heard of it, Mrs. Six animated show. I do all the voices, she does all the work. It's good. It's linked below. Go check it out if you have the chance. Do it now, because this isn't going to be very good. Anyway, that out of the way and Blossom in the background letting you know, how's it going? What have we been up to? Well, I have to go to work, damned time change. So as someone else was saying that they were really happy that I changed the time of the stream, and I'm like, no, I haven't. And I think it's because of fucking daylight changing. Where's gone daylight changing? Because the best part of it is that everyone does it at a different point, don't they? So
well, America's massive.
Well, they have multiple time zones throughout the country, like bastards. So yeah, it ends up being very different times to very different people. Evening, sir and Mrs. Six. Hello, Jonathan Owens. I want to be the idiot. We'll make episodes of Spoon Stuff Stories. She keeps talking about having a team of animators, and I'm like, bitch, I might have some money, but I don't have that much. Not even close. I have enough to feed and clothe us.
No, I can't have a team of people anyway. I get really annoyed at them.
They would all be not good enough.
I'm very impatient.
You'd be a tyrant.
I'm an impatient perfectionist, so that's not gonna.
I thought you were about to say I'm an impatient employer, and I'm like,
well, yeah, that too.
Watch Spoon Stuff now. It'll only get more expensive later. Somehow. I mean, that seems likely. Everything's going up in price. Hello, Kenjiro. And, of course, Spoon from Madman. But yeah, can't actually think of anything else. I built a computer over the weekend. Another one. Because I am fucking obsessed, apparently. It was more of a rebuild to make something smaller. But still. That's what I did with my weekend and not a lot else because of the fucking snow. Oh, so for those of you keeping track, this is now the third time I've hurt myself within about a month period, give or take. The snow, I don't know fucking why I decided to do this, but the snow fell, we looked outside, it was very, very snowy. One of the kids had gotten poorly, but the other one was fine. So we were like, oh, we'll take it to school in the morning. I look outside, see all this snow. At no point, I said, I'll tell a lie. It completely occurred to me to check Mrs. Six's phone because she's the one that the school texts when there's an emergency or an important piece of information. I thought to do it, but I didn't check the phone to see if the school had just cancelled school. We got to the end of basically a pathway which goes down a relatively shallow incline, and I immediately went on my ass and then tried to get up and went straight onto my bad knee. Not a smart move. Kid was unhappy, I was unhappy, and I was like, you know what, fuck this, we can't get to school. Not with my fucking injuries all down my legs. And then, of course, when I went back, I looked at Mrs. Six's phone, and it said it was a fucking snow day anyway, and I could have avoided all of that by not being stupid.
But you wouldn't be you if you did.
It made me big mad. And yeah. But that's what happens when you're the big silly. I forged a sword over the weekend. That was fun. 20 inches of snow over here. But I have a plough, so not much shoveling for me. Well, unfortunately, the path that I'm talking about is like...
Unfortunately, Britain is, when you get half an inch of snow, they go, oh my god, all alarms go off, emergency.
To be fair, this was 2 inches of snow, I reckon.
Yes, but still, though.
And we live on a hill. a very, very, very scary hill when it fucking snows.
Yeah, every single
I
winter we
hate it
slip
when
on that thing.
this has been one of the best places to live, except for that fucking hill. It's just steep enough that no matter who you are and how long you've lived here, it is fucking knackering to walk up it every goddamn time. But when it's got snow on it, it is an absolute death trap. A terrible school for terrible people? No, it's a fine, it's an okay school for my kids who aren't terrible people. They're not old enough to be terrible yet. Good evening. Your garden looks very romantic, but what on earth is that abomination hiding on the left of the screen? That's Blossom. That's Blossom advertising a great show that you should go watch
Oh
called
my
Spoon Stuff
God.
Stories. Link in the description. I voice it. Mrs. Sick does all the work. It's good. Uh, no snow here in sunny Sussex. Fuck you, John. That's all you get out of me. Fuck you. Remember to medicate with whiskey for your injuries. I mean, I would, but it was like 9 in the morning. I might be someone who enjoys the tipple. I'm not, hopefully, not an actual full-blown alcoholic yet. You got to wait until I've done some work at least. But yeah, so that fucking sucked. That was that Friday? I think that was, yeah, we had a 3-day weekend effectively. I was all ready to call this stream extra terrible for being late, and only just now remembered that my clocks changed yesterday. So I'm extra terrible. Yes, you are, Dave. Damn you. Everybody's been. I don't know how you forget that we always know that the clocks change. Like, it's never, because it's such a fucking. It's either a great day because, extra hour sleep, or it's just the worst. Hello, sir and Mr. Sick. Did you enjoy Sir Sick taking the baton and running with Mr. My Eric Dubai Flintstone song this week? Oh, God, I'd forgotten I did that. I mean, I only did one line. I thought it was pretty good. Can't remember what it was, but it was pretty entertaining. Just feel glad that for once England has better weather than California. What's happening in California this time? Is it more fire? Because that seems to be like the thing. Cersei and family live on Eye Hill. I assume that's supposed to be where else would you build your whiskey castle? That's very true. I just don't like it when it snows. I'm boycotting the time change. Well, good for you. Literally everyone else will just be doing it anyway. Buckinghamshire is snowless. I'm sure lots of parts of the country are snowless. You don't need to keep bringing it up. It was fucking pain in the ass. We couldn't go anywhere this weekend because we didn't want to die. If I don't have my breakfast beer, I'm even more of a terrible person. Maybe I have a problem. I'll figure it out after the next beer. I mean, it couldn't hurt. California is covered in 9 feet of snow. I mean, England is rarely that snowy, especially these days. I haven't seen a white Christmas in a really long fucking time. Snow and rain in California. It's going to be pissing it down for the next while. So that's always
but
fun.
that's England for you.
Sister is in Sheffield. The snow has been hell there, but our kids have enjoyed it. I mean, that's great. Our kids, after the first one was sick, the next day the next one was sick. Poor kiddo. Last night got herself an ear, or not an ear infection necessarily, earache. That's the one. Might be an infection. Might be something else. We don't know. But it was brutal. We were up until not that late, but way past her fucking bedtime. And yeah, we were planning on. We're like, right, if she can't get any better, one of us will stay up with her, keep her amused, at least, so she doesn't have to suffer all on her own. Because when I was a kid, the fucking earaches, they were ridiculous. And I just sit there on my own in agony, just wishing for death. And I didn't want to do that to my kiddo. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world because I'd have probably just started playing Neon White, but it wouldn't have been great because I'd have been knackered. But thankfully, by about 11 o'clock, she was the pain had mitigated somewhat. gave her a top up on her pain medication, and she actually slept, so that was good. But fuck, I was not looking forward to today if I was going to have to stay up all night, because it would have been me. I'm better at being awake without much sleep than... You're terrible without sleep, aren't you, babes?
Yep.
Yeah. Does the helmet make the earache worse? I mean, she's not normally wearing it, and only if you hit her in the head with a stick. It smells terrible in here. Makes me sick. You're a twat. 81 degrees Fahrenheit here in Florida, but I still live in Florida. I do not know what
That
fucking
doesn't mean
81
it.
degree... That is just telling me what it is by... I don't know.
You might as well say it's pi degrees in Florida.
Yeah, it's just meaningless. Fahrenheit is such a shit measure of temperature. It doesn't tell you anything. 0 degrees in C means ice. 100 degrees in C means boiling. That's the measure. That's easy to sort of quantify in your mind. Fahrenheit is just gibberish. I'm doing a brewery tour in Bruges for my birthday in 2 weeks. I get a free beer of choice when it's done. A whole free beer. Or do you mean like quite a lot of free beer? I don't know.
Like
it does just sound like you get a single beer now. Fuck off.
A keg of beer.
I slipped on the 0.5 centimeters of English snow outside my house and technically got hit by a parked car. Do you mean you fell onto a parked car? Or did you fall and then slide? Because I have this image in my head of someone just slowly sliding into a car and then going, ow. Went to work, didn't even make a snowman. Ugh.
Sad.
Didn't make a snowman. Unfortunately, the snow outside we've got a hill on one side and like horrible concrete on the other, so making snowmen isn't that easy. Watching the stream from the start at 2 times speed because I need to complete. I'll catch up in a second. Oh, you'll try. We had a white Christmas here in Neo, northeast Ohio. There we go. I knew I'd get the word eventually.
You could
You
say
call it Neo.
Could be. Is it neon white?
Fuck off. There's northeast Ohio. I think I want to say Idaho. That's what my brain keeps telling me when I see that word. I feel like that's something that is like a mortal sin. Lord Kelvin. It's 275 Kelvin here. Brr. I thought it was degrees Kelvin, but yeah. Us Americans can't seem to get away from imperial measurements, lol. And it's funny that, because I learned about kilometers being called clicks from Americans. It was like American police, because they'll say like half a click. And it's like, so you use miles and kilometers sometimes. I mean, that's not to say that England isn't the fucking worst for that.
Yeah, we have a very weird way
We
of
measure
measuring.
people in feet. We measure distance in meters. And it's just fucking stupid when you really, really start. Like, they're both measurements of distance. And yet, everybody should brew their own beer. All beer is free, more or less, then. What if you don't particularly like beer? Now, I know that you could technically distill it and turn it into whiskey, but that also sounds like a lot of work that I'm not willing to do, especially considering the not insignificant chance of doing an explosion. Fahrenheit is useful for day-to-day activities such as health/weather. Celsius is good for meh. Kelvin is good for science. How is it more useful? If I work in Celsius, how is it more useful to have something in Fahrenheit than Celsius? Because I know what, like, a person is supposed to be like, what is it, like 36, 37 degrees?
It varies.
It varies, but it's around there,
Yeah.
and I know that, so that's useful. I know that when it's fucking like -3 outside, that it's literally freezing. We can't get away from the imperial measurements, but at least it doesn't have to change with every king. It hasn't changed with a king or a queen in a very, very long time. I know you think that our royalty is powerful, but they aren't. They're mostly just annoying. Give me the mead. Metric system is the tool of the devil. My car gets 40 rods to the hogshead, and that's the way I likes it. I like that. An American in Discord I'm part of was saying foreigners complaining about Imperial units is funny. Is the only American in the entire group. You're the foreigner, you fucking idiot. I do think that there is definitely a stereotype of an American going to other places and considering everybody else to be the foreigners. Unironically. Although British people do it as well, they're the worst. And obviously the casual football violence is not great. I particularly just want an endless supply of dark stouts. I mean, good for you. As long as someone else is drinking them, then I don't have to. Fahrenheit was supposed to be based off the average baseline human body temperature being arbitrarily 100, and they even got that wrong. Obviously. Part of why it's a shit measurement. When the numbering system in buildings for basement levels. Even the numbering system in buildings for basement levels. I did find ground floors and first floor to be confusing for a while, and I think that was the fault of American television. Ground floor is the floor that you're on when you haven't raised up one level. It is not the first floor when you walk in the building. Because you're not outside on the first floor, are you? Eh? Let's put America to rights right now. Waiting for someone to come in and be really fucking pissed off at me because America and me not caring. Formal football violence better than casual football violence. I mean, if I saw a shitload of dudes in tuxedos fighting the shit out of a bunch of other dudes, all in, I don't know, what's a different kind of formal wear?
Fireman outfit.
I was going to say ball gowns. Actually, no, yeah, that's perfect. That'd be perfect. Them having a fight, it would at least be very entertaining. I drove from Alaska across Canada and came back into the States in North Dakota. I was driving 90 miles per hour across Canada, and if I got pulled over, I was going to claim Dominican American status. Okie dokie. Wish I could do more. Love the channel, sir. Well, anything you can do is awesome, and even if you can't, you're still fucking sick. British people going abroad on holiday and complaining about foreign food. Makes you proud. That's the what was it? Idiot Abroad is basically it's hilarious and also kind of a national embarrassment because there's far too many people who would take their monster munch to other countries. There's a building in Akron. It's so old, it actually has the 13th floor instead of having given into the useful. Sorry, the earlier point was that the USA does not like negative. I didn't see that earlier point. Kings and Queens, what happened in 1970 to English currency? I don't fucking know. I wasn't around then. I'm not that fucking old.
I may be eternal, but...
I'm eternal, but I'm not like an old person. Never understood why us Yanks haven't went metric. Stubbornness, probably.
Probably because we want to be different.
They'll change the language, but they won't to be simpler. But they won't change the numbers to be simpler. No. Well, you know, makes some fucking sense. Welcome to concourse, just below the mezzanine. Yeah. But anyway, enough about fucking numbers. Can't wait for more Matt Powell stuff. Oh God. I mean, I've been searching through his shit, and I've yet to see one. He's not made anything recently that's worthy of my time that I felt I can be asked with. But I might dive into his back catalogue to see if there's anything I can find. Apparently, PBS Spacetime in their latest video thinks space and time are not real. Debunk incoming. I mean, maybe. I'm assuming that there's probably more to it than that. Have you watched the video? Or is it just the title that gives that impression? One assumes a PBS thing is probably at least somewhat scientifically literate. Probably more than I am. Enough of Matt Powell. Grr. I thought you were going to say Matt Powell go, but Americans use metric for their ammunition. Well, you gotta. You want it to be right, don't you? Funniest thing is Americans coming to the UK having learned the metric system because the UK is in Europe, right? I mean, it certainly was. I mean, we do have the metric system in the UK. Like, it's not that we don't. We just also have Imperial shit for no fucking reason. Mostly with pints and people. I mean, you've got to figure out how many pints you can get into a person, so that is important. I heard someone say that Twat Pal has left the compound or something. It wouldn't surprise me if they fell out. Although, I don't know. I was actually looking at his channel today, and I noticed that his banner is like really low res. It's like blurry. And as far as I'm aware, isn't he supposed to be like a computer science major or something? So the man who considers himself quite the smart boy couldn't even apply his own fucking academic learning to making his channel not look like a piece of shit that was put together by an absolute moron. Interesting to say the least. Metric is as arbitrary as any other measurement system. True, but it's also based on things. Based on things that are accurate and recheckable. A lot of it, anyway. We used a weird.
Should we go back to qubits?
Qubits. And feet meaning literally.
Literally feet, yeah.
Hazmat actually made content since he allegedly left. Hazmat actually made content since he allegedly left Dino Adventureland. I swear they locked him in the basement. I mean,
make video.
Make another video, you goddamn piece of shit. I don't know how I'd feel about Matt Powell getting abused by Kent Hovind. On the one hand, Matt Powell is a piece of garbage. On the other hand, nobody should be being abused. It's a tough moral dilemma. But it's probably not true. I mean, he's fucking taller than the man. If Matt Powell can't kick Kent Hovind's ass, I'll be fucking surprised. And I would definitely pay to watch that fight. Fights are good, but the UK and USA difference in gallons is a tough one. Oh, I don't even... Gallons is not something I even consider. And Matt's probably as computer literate as his partner is scientifically literate. And he is scientifically literate. PBS SciShow and Spacetime are excellent repositories of knowledge. They generally get things pretty right. I've seen them get things quite significantly wrong sometimes, but which happens, but they've then corrected, at least in my experience. Not that I pay much attention to them. The thing that settled metric for me is 1 centimeter cube is 1 millimeter. I can literally eyeball relatively accurate ingredients for cooking the recipe because of it. Okay.
I don't care. I guess most of the time when I'm baking stuff.
Hazmat Powell. Hazmat. Yes, that's quite good. Egyptian cubits or Roman cubits, Mrs. Tick?
Take a wild guess.
It'd be Egyptian. Definitely. Abuse is bad and shouldn't happen to even Matty, in my opinion. Yes, I technically agree. I do agree. But I still want to watch them fight. Kent may have learned dirty fighting from prison, though. I mean, let's be fair. He probably just, like, blinded people with those fucking yellow glasses. Shine them in a bit of light and burn a hole through a human's head. How many pints do you have to drink to forget if it's metric? A couple. What do you need if you have Matt Powell and Kent Hovind up their necks in cement? More cement, of course. Fucking hell.
That's a bit dark.
We should run a D&D campaign with the various YouTube apologists as the characters. You can do that if you want. I'm kind of anti agreeing to do pretty much anything ever unless it's for a short term. Like collabs are about as much work as as much time as I'm willing to dedicate to anything in particular. Currently in the middle of working on one. I won't tell you who, but yeah, that's going on, and it's extra work. I was invited a long time ago now to do a D&D campaign, and I am very glad that I didn't, because I don't like the idea of letting people down, but I also don't like the idea of having to do something regularly that doesn't, help sustain my life. I like to be a free agent to a relative degree. Just fight. I want to see them fence with crosses. I mean, that would still be a fight, wouldn't it? It's not logic.
Still technically a fight.
I'll have to look into doing that one because we did try and shit came up from my end. How much whiskey is a weed dram? A bit. Collab. Is it creaky? It's not creaky. Don't guess because I'm not gonna say. If you guess it, I'm gonna say it's not them. So well done. Anyone remember Qbert? Dating myself when that came out to the market. Are you talking about that fucking game where you highlight fucking tiles? Because that is an old goddamn game now. Jesus Christ. Oof. Has anyone yet asked ChatGPT to be a DM? I don't think it would have the capacity to do it for very long. Because you only have a certain amount of lines, and then it would.
I know it can write D&D narratives though.
It could write a narrative that you could technically follow, but I don't think it could actually DM. I think it would get to a point, and then it wouldn't know what was going on anymore. Also, it goes kind of absolutely bananas at some point, especially if you're using the one that's connected to Bing. I mean, I'm not saying it isn't very entertaining to watch it go completely out of its mind, but scary shit when you think about it. What is your favorite whiskey brand? Yes. I feel bad for Logic having to deal with that guy's book. Are you talking about that one guy? Because I think I know who you mean. Gallagher for life. Gallagher is good, but there have been some improvements in video games since Gallagher. Cuba, Dig Dug, Space War, Asteroids used to be an arcade junkie. If I had my dream house, one of the rooms would be a 90s style arcade with stale smoke somehow being injected. I don't know if I'd hire someone to come smoke in it.
Can I do that?
Well, I can hire you to do that. It'd be your smoking room.
Oh my god, I really want a cigarette.
Yeah, she's wanted a cigarette for a while now. And the first Street Fighter is garbage. Anybody who thinks that good is just evil. Unless you're saying it's not. 28 minutes late. I really am an idiot. I know most people should be thinking that we're late. I have Gallagher on my PS5. Aren't you an absolute savage? Do you ever wish that any of the people you made videos about had never been born? No, because then I wouldn't have been able to make a video about them. What's wrong with you? That's content right there. Even the worst ones, they're at least good for something. That is being a bad example. Smoke comes pre-installed. That would be kind of awesome. But yeah, that's what I want. I want my own arcade space, and that I can quickly and easily change it to the games I actually want to play.
You get quite nostalgic about that stuff.
I am extremely I am desperate to find a local-ish enough arcade that I can just go to and play video games for fucking 7 hours or something stupid like that, with like big machines like the old the fucking zombie shooter with the shotguns that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head.
House of Dead 3.
House of Dead 3.
That's one
Awesome
of my
game.
favorite ones.
Tokyo Highway Battle. Not that I have any nostalgia for the game. I never managed to play it, but it has like a tank cockpit as the thing you use to play it, which is just sick. Bike racing games and all that shit where you can lean to actually steer the bike. All that shit. Fucking big ass cabinets would be so cool. Didn't arcades go extinct? Effectively, but that doesn't mean people haven't attempted to make ones for the sake of nostalgia and use a different sort of model for it. Usually you pay to go in and then the machines are essentially free. Arcades are back as beercades. Yeah, I do wonder about that. Because a bunch of pissed adults fucking about in an arcade does seem like a recipe for people breaking shit. And I guess that kids break shit all the time, but they also don't have the strength of a drunk adult person. Ever play Snorks 2 the River Run? I've never even heard of Snorks 2 the River Run, so there you go. Tokyo Highway Battle sounds like a normal day going to work in Tokyo. Original Afterburner and Outrun. Yeah, the Afterburner machine was fucking crazy. This big hoop that would move back and forth. If you've ever seen Terminator 2, there's, I think his mate plays on it for a bit. Something like that. Oh. Used to play old Silent Hill arcade, but dual wield the guns. It was fun. Feel like a badass, and then you realise that the difficulty went up. Probably, I don't know. The arcades with guns were the original VR. I mean, there are arcade simulators in VR, which I've used some of, and they usually have arcade machines. So that's pretty fucking meta. We have a laser tag place 2 towns over, but that would be 1 or 2 days drive for you, sick. Yes, I imagine 2 towns over would be a pretty significant distance, and fuck that noise. We had Pong and we had Intellivision, and that's all we needed when I was growing up. Yeah, actually, I got I'm on the Google Rewards thing on my phone, and randomly it asked me the question, do you own any of these consoles? And it was like Xbox One, PS4, PS3, Switch, and something else, and it was just yes. I was supposed to tick all the ones I had, and it's just yeah, I have them all. I most of them bought when they were ridiculously cheap because I could. We had 3 gaming systems when my son was a young'un. I have more than I care to admit. Pissed adults in a smoke-filled arcade sounds like all the time in pachinko parlor. Yeah, but at least with a pachinko parlor, there's not the same kind of damage that you can do to one of those machines than you can do to a stick that pokes out, or like some kind of bike thing that you could just wrench off of its fucking... Yeah. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure they've thought of it. Axe throwing is the new drunk adult fun time. Oh my god, fuck that. I wouldn't touch a building. If I knew drunk people were in there, I wouldn't touch it with a... It's like when you see those videos of people at at gun ranges, and some asshole spins around to turn to face someone and just completely sweeps the entire room. Obviously not firing, but terrifying. Started with Pong until all the consoles started coming out. The bastards. Pretty confident 2 days is accurate Ireland Germany distance. Okay. The only arcades I've been to have been on ferries. Made trips to and from the continent bearable. I imagine so, although these days you can carry most of what you would need on you. That's how far we've come.
I hated going on the ferry.
Well, you get really motion sick, don't you?
It's not
Yeah.
really. I get seasick.
Yeah, sea, motion, whatever.
Yeah, but
all
it's
the same.
only I don't get motion sick though. And like in a car, I'm fine.
Do you know what will make you really sick? Love that new Spoon Stuff Stories episode is out. I love that series.
I'm gonna kill you. Oh my god! Stop.
She was saying that to me, Rebecca. It wasn't to you. She very much appreciates the love. She just will not tell you that and be an asshole about it.
Well, I'm not reading chat. I'm drawing.
I know you're not reading chat. I was reading chat to you, and one that I knew that would annoy you because Mr. Sick doesn't like compliments. But yes, thank you. And thank you for reminding us all that there is a new episode of Spoon Stuff Stories out. Link in the description. There was an axe throwing bar that let a blind guy throw the... Jesus fucking Christ.
Congratulations.
I mean, did they at least point him in the right direction and like... God, you couldn't even stand behind him because you get at least the fucking back of the axe to the face.
It's such a bad idea.
My gamer buddy hasn't watched Braveheart. I am the bewildered. Braveheart, is that the one with Mel? No, yeah, that's the one with Mel Gibson. Every time I hear Braveheart, I think of the movie that came out at a similar time. I think called Dragonheart.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Which had Sean Connery as a dragon.
That was a while ago.
The dragon had his heart half removed and put into the bad guy or some shit like that. It was cool as a kid. I imagine I'd watch that now and go, what the fuck did I see in this? Apart from Sean Connery. Don't point your gun at anything you aren't... I thought it was don't point your gun at anything you aren't prepared to kill. That's sick. Makes Mrs. Sick sick. I do. I'm sure you've answered this, but did you ever get a PO box set up so we can send you whiskey? No, but that's mostly because I forgot. That is something I'm going to have to fucking sort out sometime soon. The Dragonheart. It was something like that. It seemed like a cool idea. Can't believe they didn't see it coming that the blind guy would miss. Did he miss? I didn't see that, but it's unsurprising. How did my childhood become retro? You got older. It's always the same when you start to realize that the 90s was 30 years ago. That at least the oldest point of the 90s was 30 years ago. Over 30 years ago. And that's like, no. That's not allowed to happen.
I made a thing for you.
Sean Connery's best movie was Zardoz. Is that the one where he's running around in the red fucking thong thing? Because I imagine it is great. You made a thing. Did you finish the thing that you were thinging?
The thing that I was thinging?
Yeah, you were thinging with your thing.
I'll put it in the edit thing.
Cool.
There you go.
My doctor accidentally made a pun when saying he was going to refill my Viagra prescription for whatever happens. Oh, a pun. Okay. This is for whatever happens to come up. I mean, it's supposed to make something come up, but you know. I'm still trying to figure out why people like pixel leal graphics for game when I was so happy to see them go 3D. My kids like pixel graphics more than they like 3D because pixel art can be very, very good. But a lot of 3D, at least when 3D went 3D, it looked like shit.
Yeah.
And it looked like shit for a really long time. Like, it wasn't until sort of the end of the PlayStation 2 kind of time period that stuff generally was likely to look at least okay. Some of that shit, fuck me, that was bad.
I just shifted and everything clicked.
Yay!
It went down my spine like a transformer.
Didn't we got one of those machines that it's like a gun with a thing on the end, and no, it's not a masturbation aid. It is actually a back massager. But the first time we did it to you, and like half of your body just popped.
Yeah, it made all cracking noises.
Oof. It works though. Don't buy the $100 quid one. Get the fucking 30. Get a £30 one with a good price, and it's just as good. I have developed a serious drinking problem. It is 6:40 a.m. and I'm out of beer. That is a drinking problem. JK, sort of. My favourite drinking problem joke is from Airplane. That's when I developed my drinking problem, and he throws it over his face. Always makes me laugh. A lot of us had the wood blade screwed on a plastic stick. What the fuck are you talking about? A lot of indie horror games use the PS2 graphics. No, a lot of indie horror games use PlayStation 1 graphics. If you notice that the textures go really weird and change shape, that's called affine texture warping, and is a relic of the PlayStation 2 era before they knew how to use perspective correct texturing. So yeah, I'm a fucking nerd if you didn't know. I like that shit.
Mrs. Sick just transformed and rolled out. I've not rolled since I was like 9.
I wouldn't even risk doing like a front roll.
I could probably do it, but I'd probably hurt
I could
myself.
probably do it, but I'd definitely be in pain afterwards. That would be such a bad idea. Final Fantasy VII and Legend of Dragoon for PS1, Mario World for N64. Mario World? Do you mean Super Mario 64? Mario World wasn't on the N64. Super Mario World was on the SNES. Eh? I know my shit. It's not like that much, but it's enough. Indie horror games. Terror at the Indie 500. I see what you did. That would be kind of fucking awesome, actually. What would be a horror setting? And before anybody asks, it can't be that a car is possessed by a monster and runs people over. That movie has probably been made about 30 bastard times.
I remember watching that.
There have been many films.
I think it was just called like Road or something. It was
Wheels.
really cheaply made. But
I think there was one where it was an evil wheel. I think it might have been spoofy parody-ish, but I'm pretty sure there's one that's just a wheel that just bounces down the street and then will fucking smush someone's head under it, or knock into things and have people fall onto spikes and shit.
Let's have a look.
That's gotta. If that doesn't exist, if I just dreamed it, but I'm pretty sure that's a real thing. Someone keeps up bringing up Snorks 2 The River Run. Was actually a horror game, but the genre was deemed not marketable to young Snorks fans, so it was labelled to be thrilling.
Apparently The Exorcist is classed as one of the top 10 scariest movies.
The Exorcist is not scary anymore. At the time, it was considered fucking terrible. If it's based on of the time, is Nosferatu on that list? Because people found Nosferatu fucking terrifying. No. That was an 18 until like recently. And you look at what
Wow, really?
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of blood on someone's neck. And it's like, oh my god.
Okay, there's Exorcist, Hereditary.
Never heard of it.
The Conjuring. I know I haven't watched it, but that's the one with the evil nun. I find a lot of horror movies funny, so then there's The Shining, which was hilarious when I watched it.
Futurama had the best take on possessed cars. Wasn't it called The Honking? Or something
Honking. Like that. The Ring is on there. Halloween's on there. I remember watching Halloween. I was like 11, 12.
Oh no fucking way!
Yeah, it was really...
Deliveries come early. You're gonna have to be entertaining.
Okay, I remember watching it when I was like 11 or 12, and yeah, it was not scary at all. I found it boring mostly. I don't know. Horror movies have definitely changed in how they approach the scares and stuff. What was it on Netflix now? There was. It was like a haunted house or something. Oh, The Grudge. I fucking love The Grudge, especially the Japanese one. That was one of my favourites. And then I watched the American one and I was really disappointed. I can't remember what it is. The haunted house one. Maybe you guys know. Nosferatu is in SpongeBob games. It's iconic. I give it that. It's definitely iconic. But nah, I can't. I remember, I think I watched that probably around the same age, 13 maybe, and I enjoyed it because it was kind of classical, but nah, it wasn't scary at all. How long did Sick take before the first piss break? He hasn't gone yet, actually. He's just gonna go pick the delivery that's been coming. Nosferatu isn't scary. No. That Rudy Giuliani? I can't read that all. Made it real. Amityville. I think it's based on that. It's on Netflix at the moment. It's like Haunting of an Elm House. I don't know. It's basically a haunted house. But when it first came out, there was like a little hype for it. And people were going on saying it's super scary. Oh my god, ghost house. Oh, cool. Ugh. And I watched it and I literally fell asleep watching it because it was so fucking boring.
What was that?
There's a Netflix horror
what's it
thing.
called?
I don't know what it is. It's like
so it's memorable then.
House on the Haunted Hill or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, so
but it's really boring.
Thanks to the Amazon delivery department for, you know, when you ask for something between 10 and 11 and they show up 15 minutes earlier, that's definitely not really fucking annoying. It's almost like I chose that time on purpose.
Yeah, I think American horror movies are not scary.
I'm sure there are scary American horror movies, but when they try and remake something...
The Haunting of Hill House. I knew it was something like that. Yeah, that was fucking boring.
No, when American cinema tries to remake something that was successful from another country, it's almost universally not as good.
Yeah.
I had a stupid Christian game for the NES called King of Kings. I had to buy and hide any of the good games. Oh god, did you get Super Noah's Ark 3D? Because that's fucking amazing. I think I have that on Steam as a goof. I just saw it really cheap and went, yeah, fuck it, I want to own Super. It's basically a shit mod of Doom. Cabin in the wood. I thought it was in the woods. It's just a cabin that someone built into a tree. And they're like, shit, we can't get in. The end. Horrifying. There's an episode of Sesame Street where the Cookie Monster is out of cookies. That was scary. Went around beating the shit out of Big Bird and that. I like Feast for a good horror movie. Comedy and gore and jump scares. I like a good funny horror movie.
Yeah, they tend to be the best ones, to be honest. Oh, American Werewolf. That, it wasn't scary, but the
transformation
scene? The transformation was really good. It was very gory. I really liked it.
I watched American Werewolf in London when I was very small and way too soon. So that game was genuinely really scary as a kid. And then I watched it as an adult and went, oh, wait a second, this is fucking brilliant. This is really funny.
Blair Witch was funny for me. I found it hilarious.
Event Horizon was pretty scary. Event Horizon is definitely good. I don't know if I think of it as scary, but it's good. It's very entertaining and engaging. I saw South Park Bigger, Longer and Uncut in the theatre. Did you say fuck a lot afterwards? I bet you did. You absolute savage. I left my water outside in the car, went to drink it this morning. Somebody put a solid block of something in the bottle. It's clear. So it's clear. Sony can see how big it is, taking up almost the whole bottle. Like some sort of ice. Bastards. The South Park movie did have a brilliant soundtrack. Very, very. It is a musical that no one wants to call a musical, but it's totally a fucking musical. Obviously on purpose at the same as well. Night of the Living Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Dracula with Bela Lugosi, Frankenstein with Norris Karloff. I thought it was Boris Karloff. Am I thinking of something else? Boris. They are next to each other. It might be Boris. But the fucking zombie one in the, I was gonna say supermarket then. It's not in a supermarket. It's in a mall. That I watched at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I was a little fucking. I've always been someone who has great difficulty falling asleep. And then I started hearing. I've told this story many times before, but it's still a good story because it scared the shit out of me. Just hearing the milk floats, those electric powered milk delivery things when those still fucking existed, which I'm not even sure they exist at all anymore. At least not around here. I've not seen one for many years. It makes such a uncanny noise, and it's very distinct because it's electric. It's supposedly so that it doesn't wake people up in the morning. But if you're already awake and you've just watched a horror thing that's, again, probably quite scary for someone of your age. I mean, I enjoyed it and I didn't find it that scary, but it puts you in the mind of freakiness. And then you hear this sound that sounds a lot like an electric drill. You're going to start making connections in your head about why you would be able to hear an electric drill in your house. I thought someone was trying to break in and I absolutely cacked myself until I looked out the window and saw the thing moving along. I was like, oh, thank fucking Christ. That was scary. Shaun of the Dead, best zombie movie, fight me. Arguably, I think it is a very, very good zombie movie.
Walking Dead. What would you do? What do you call it? Is it people arguing and sometimes zombies?
That's the meme, yeah.
Yeah.
People arguing, sometimes zombies.
Yeah, Negan is the Negan bit is really good, and yeah, I ended up having a thing for Negan because I have a thing about bad boys.
Isn't he in like Tekken or something as a downloadable character as well for some fucking reason? As crossovers go,
he's fucking badass. That's why.
Am I the only one that thinks the original It was the most boring thing I'd ever seen?
Yes, thank you.
It is kind of boring.
My mum said
except where
my mum was like,
which is pretty entertaining.
You need to watch it. It's super scary. And I was like, all right, I watched it, and I think I must have fallen asleep actually.
Sorry, I'm like, can you please restart the stream? Okay. Hello, everyone. No, wait a second. I'm not doing that. I was in perhaps the worst zombie movie ever made, 2012, The Becoming. Of course, my performance was brilliant. Tour de force.
Oh, I remember watching Jeepers Creepers when I was young.
I
can't remember what it was about, though.
Shaun of the Dead gets another vote for best zombie movie. Silent Hill was the best.
7.
Silent Hill, the movie Silent Hill, I didn't hate it. Sir Sevenin is actually really good. Although it is called Sir Sevenin. Silent Hill, I found the movie entertaining by its own rights, but as an adaptation of the games, it was kind of cack. Like, it used characters, it used monsters that had nothing to do with the character. Because the point of Silent Hill is that Pyramid Head is a reflection of James Sunderland's repressed sexuality, and the nurses, the sexy nurses, are like representative of the fact that he ignored his dying wife and was more interested in the nurses. A lot of it is about sex, and to have any of those characters, any of those monsters in for someone else, especially like a chick who is definitely heterosexual, it makes no fucking sense that any of them are there. It is really stupid in the context of the Silent Hill universe.
It was happening at the marketing.
Oh yeah, it was just, here's some monsters, aren't they scary? Yeah. And it's like, okay. But if you just take it on its own, it's kind of fun. Oh, thank you, Colin Ritchie. That's a lot.
It's very generous of you. Horror movie premise: pro stunt driver turned serial killer proceeding to sabotage, slaughter his way through competition by making winner by default until hero kills him.
Is that the? Because I was going to suggest having what would a not an indie driver horror movie be, and I suppose that makes a certain sense. I would consider that would be a thriller though, more than a horror movie. Horror movies need a monster. I think they need something that is slightly beyond sort of reality. like your Jason Voorhees and your Michael Myers.
Yeah, it needs to come across as being unkillable.
They're kind of magical.
Yeah.
So sick, you've got red on you. Cornetto.
I don't know. There's definitely some horror movies which I guess they're not technically horror. Then are they? They're more thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a line between horror movie and thriller movie, but to me, it's not really horror unless it's horrifying, and people aren't. It can be horrifying with just people. If there's some sort of extra premise to it, then it can be. But yeah.
Alien is a classic horror movie, though.
Alien, yeah,
very good, yeah.
Jesus is definitely undead. That's true.
Oh my god, can we have a Jesus zombie movie? That'd be awesome.
Sweet zombie Jesus.
Exactly.
Maximum Overdrive is a weird movie. I've heard of that. That's what happens if you let Stephen King direct and pay him mostly in cocaine. That sounds good. The nurses in the Silent Hill movie can be linked to Alyssa since she'll never healthy, not burned body. Yeah, but it's kind of a stretch considering they are literally the same monster. Effectively. The only thriller movie was a documentary about Michael Jackson. Oh, you twat. Original Last House on the Left. Don't know that one. I always liked... people say that people only like the Rob Zombie movies because it's Rob Zombie, which is nonsense. I've watched...
Oh, you showed it, man. I barely knew the guy. And I enjoyed
at the time, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Quite like the films, and then you found out, oh, it's this guy who does this song, and you're like, oh, I like that song.
I'm like, actually, he's quite fit, yeah.
Oh, I'd fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Zombie Hunter is a movie. Yes, but he's not the zombie. He's not like a hunter zombie. Is Maximum Overdrive the one with Emilio Estevez? Well, I don't know which one it is, so I don't know. Which is the one with machine gun...
Oh, God.
It's not a horror movie, I don't think, at all. But it has guitar cases that are also have machine guns that come out at the end. And it's really dumb, and it's fun.
I'm not sure.
I want to watch that film again.
Do you remember the one we went to go watch?
2012?
Yeah.
That film was
shit.
What?
I also watched one called The Happening.
What's happening?
That had Matt Damon in it, and it was about killer trees.
Awesome.
It was really dire.
House of 1,000 Corpses. I only counted 200 or so. False advertising. Yeah, I enjoyed that film quite a lot. I also really enjoyed The Devil's Rejects because it's not really a horror movie. It's more just like a dumb road trip movie with horror elements, and it's quite fun.
Jaws got me into marine biology, interning.
Dusk Till Dawn, I think someone is trying to say. Is that the one with the guns?
Oh my god!
But Dusk Till Dawn is good.
Oh, yes.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, it's one of my absolute favorite.
Desperado
movies.
or Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I know one of those has. I know one film has some really stupid shit in it, and I like stupid shit. It entertains me. Mark Wahlberg was in the Happening, not Matt Damon. Mrs. Sick can't tell the difference between Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg, to be honest.
They look the same.
It's the same guy.
It's a white dude. What do you... All white men look the same.
That's very true. There's a song, Jesus
That's
is a zombie.
Salima Hayek. Oh, tits. She has tits and hips. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on that...
You know who I'm on about, don't you? That bird.
All right, okay. Anyway, on that astounding note of me knowing who that bird is, we're going to fuck off now because I've got stuff to do.
She's your type, though.
We've had your money. Now drink up and
she has massive boobs, though, look.
Okay, she has a terrific rack. Thank you very much. We'll see you all later.
Bye.
Oh.